Welcome to the...
Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Oh, my goodness gracious, I'm back live, and that ain't no jive, baby. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. Jesse Torrero in the house with you, coming straight off the 405 freeway, stressed out. I got off the freeway, and I did the back alley cat way of getting here. Thank goodness. I've been here 55 of my 57 years of life. I'm better than GPS, baby. That's right. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. It's time for the Jesse T Show. Round up, wound up. I know one of our guests is trying to get here. Roberta Beeson, author of a brand new book from talking about Amelia Earhart. And that's really topical because a lot of people think that the dirty Japs, the Nips, that's right. Well, that's what they said in World War II. I know they don't say that now, but I just was reflecting back of World War II. I wanted to give you the feel of World War II. But they say that she landed in that island, her and her compadre, and they were actually picked up and captured by Japanese and interned in a Japanese concentration camp, and that's where she died, on another island. So hopefully Roberta Beeson will be able to make it in here today. I know the traffic is absolutely, it's like worse times 1,000 today. I don't know why it is. It's just, don't do what I do and drive down the commuter lane. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that, because you see, I got this blow-up doll, but the problem is I didn't realize it had a hole in its rear. Yes, and I kept going like this while I'm driving. No, you guys have such a bad, nasty mind. I'm talking about a little pinhole in the bottom of it. All right, forget it, okay? Hey, we're on www.thepowervoices.com. Also, AVTV Live in the Digital Broadcasting TV Network. And, of course, Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. YouTube, The Power of Voices. Facebook.com, The Power of Voices. Straight on the Point. Live stream. Instagram, you got to get my Instagram going there, Lee. So you're in charge of getting that one going. Yeah, so you figured that out. We worked on that yesterday. And then we got live stream going on. Periscope's happening. Snapchat. We're just all over everywhere. The other way. Thank you very much. Yes. You can figure that out, right? No? Here we go again. All right. Don't knock anything over. All right. There. Hit the button that turns the camera around. You got to turn it there. Yeah, perfect. But you got to go to Instagram. It's Instagram. It's not just the video. Well, yes. See, we do this stuff every day. We do this dance and routine every single day. Hey, to my left, camera right, I can't forget about Pj Jenkins. Right here, PJ's in the house. I didn't forget about you. This is just a song and dance routine that we go through every day as we get married and bonded together. You know, it's a new kind of thing that's very old. Yes, it's very interesting, right? And come on, you know how to work an iPad? What's wrong with you? Okay, hit the button. No, don't hit the start button. No, that button. Now find the program. Oh, okay, let's see. Okay. Yes. We are like the odd couple. That's right. It does work. I have no right there. Instagram. Just hit it. Thank you. I'll give my code again. I don't care. Everybody can have my iPad passcode. It really doesn't make any difference to me. 4234. Those would be heck of some kind of measurements. 4234. No, 3820. I like 36, 24, 36, actually. There. Now, you, oh my goodness. Kimosabi. I bow down to the mercy of your expert kingdom of knowing how to help me out. There, we're on. Thank you. Okay. I don't know. It really is. Okay, so is he close enough to the microphone? Scoot a little closer. You got to hug that mic like you're making love to it. Right here, baby. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Right in there. Soul Train. Okay, round up, wound up. Roberta, where are you? Has she tried to contact me on the phone? Let's see if she tried to. This is kind of what this show's about. We just kind of get it going at some point. Come on now. No? Okay. She's not. Well, no, I'm sure she had a problem getting here. Let me see. Let me see what I got to call. Roberta. That's what Roberta. Oh, yeah. Here. We're going to hit Roberta, and you talk to Roberta. Tell her how to get here. She's probably lost. Oh, okay. Okay. So, we've had a lot of fun here this week so far. We had a terrific actor in yesterday, Cy Richardson, and we had a terrific guest the first day of the week. We had a lot of fun there, but now we're really going to get into it here, and what we're going to be talking about now is everything that happened today in the news, everything that has taken place in the news today. So I'm just kind of bringing up a couple of things here, and I invited my friend Pj Jenkins, and let me tell you a little bit about Pj right here, the handsome devil he is. Look at that handsome face, man. I shouldn't even be in the same screen with you. Look at that pretty handsome face there. I'd be a good agent for you, I think. Yes, a secret agent. Anyway, he's got that beautiful deep voice. He comes from the East Coast, so he's got that East Coast kind of flavor to him. And he's an actor. He is coming up the charts, as they used to say in the music business and the radio business, real fast. You're climbing the charts, baby.
Thank you.
Your IMDb is showing all the work that you put in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no lie about that. And he's just he's very creative. He's got a couple of his own projects coming out, and he kindly let me mess one up totally and stake out, which was a lot of fun. And I'm still trying to get some money for that.
It's awesome. I got to talk to you about that because I got some more ideas for that.
Yeah, that's really a great show. I get to play myself. That's about all I can do. I can't help but being me, Jesse T. Okay, so I invited him in here because we're going to talk some issues today, and I want to get his point of view of stuff. Also, I do want to express my thankfulness to you and gratitude for your service, being a New Jersey state trooper for as long as you were.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
that was in a previous life, right?
Yeah, it seems like it now.
Yeah, I mean, so far away. How different is your life today compared to yesterday or yesteryear?
I never imagined. If you would have told me this 5 years ago, I would have laughed at you. And,
right.
I retired in 2011 and took a couple years doing a couple other things and came out here in 2013 and got the acting bug and just took off.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get out here. You get bit by that invisible acting bug. You say, I can do that. Then you start doing it. You go, God, when am I going to get something going on? Right? Right? Exactly?
I always tell everybody I do it for fun, and when it's no longer fun, I'll stop doing it.
Right on, man.
I'm having a blast.
That's the way you do it, right? Absolutely. That's how you have to do it. And, the world is a crazy place, and you've got to taste both ends of it, both on the legal side, dealing with knuckleheads and whatever goes out on that Jersey Turnpike, and all the stuff that happens there. And then now you've got to deal in La La Land, right?
La La Land with the traffic that is insane.
It is really insane. It's really gotten worse. I do remember years ago when I was a wee tite, when the redwood trees were just this big. Yeah, I've been around a long time, and I do remember when you could go from basically your house where you live to Santa Monica Pier in a half hour, any time of the day.
Yeah, that's not happening for me unless I go at like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and you'll be lucky if you get there at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. All right, so let's do this roundup. What it's all about. We throw the issues of the day out. Dan the Man, the Road Dog King, a little bit under the weather today, so he couldn't make it in. And so it's just you and me, kid. You and me against the world, baby. That's right. So transgenders. I just don't get it, man. Transgenders in the military. Wow. Here's my feeling on that. Donald Trump, President Trump, issued a whole bunch of tweets. He's got the fastest fingers in the West. That guy can tweet faster than anybody. And he issued a whole bunch of tweets, and then he backed up and said that he talked to his generals, and they said, no transgenders in the military. Now, you can be gay, you can be a lesbian, you can be other types of alternative persuasions in terms of your sexuality, but he focused in on that and said no transgenders. And according to his military generals and geniuses, they said, okay. My feelings on that is, I agree with it. I do. I agree with it because I've always thought that, if you are something, then be that. But don't be in between. Now, there's exceptions to every rule because there's that SEAL Team 6 dude. He's like a badass, but he's a she now, and she's a badass. And I wouldn't want to mess with her because she still has he in her. So, so I'd be messing with she and I'd be getting ripped by he. So, the she thing, see how confusing it is? It's so confusing to me. But I'm of the opinion that I agree with that, with Donald Trump. Hey, if you got flat feet, they won't let you in the military. Mm-hmm. If you got blind in one eye, they won't let you in the military. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like if you're using that person as an example, I think that person, that transgender could do the job. Like it's like a fireman. Can when they first used to hire firemen, they had to be able to carry people up the steps. But when they lowered those standards, now anybody could be a fireman. They don't have to worry about carrying up the steps. So I think the same thing goes with the military. Can they do the job? Are they trained? Or they have the physical prowess to do it? Maybe there's some jobs in the military that they could do that don't rely. But if I'm going to a firefight and I'm putting my back to back on somebody, I would just want to know, are they trained? Can they handle themselves? And are we going to come out of the situation alive?
Yeah, like this guy, he originally he spent a couple of decades in the Navy, and then became a SEAL. Started off on SEAL Team 1, graduated to 5, and then became part of the elite SEAL Team 6. And he's a hero. I mean, he's got Purple Hearts. He's got Medals of Valor. He's saved his partners. The guy is like a bona fide 100% hero, no doubt about it. And then when he got out of the military, he decided that his sexual persuasion, that was never really him, and he wanted to become a female, or at least attempt to become as female as he could possibly become. And went through the whole estrogen thing and the whole thing, very similar to Caitlyn Jenner.
But who paid for that? That's the issue that I have. The military, are the transgender using the military as an excuse to get?
They were under the Obama administration.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that one guy, he actually was incarcerated in the military, and the military paid for his genderification change.
Yes, that's I have a problem with.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, when you got vets out there where they're really exposed to the chemicals and the dismemberment and the severe PSTD, being shot in the stomach and the leg, and they're having a hard time getting the type of medical treatment the VA isn't providing for them. Yet that person has an elective opportunity to become somebody else. I agree with you on that. In that respect. The issue about being able to stand on your own in a firefight or in a foxhole, where they say about foxholes, where they say there's no cowards in a foxhole. They also say that there's no atheists in a foxhole. You're praying to something when those enemies coming at you. But the point is, he was a man first when he went in as a SEAL, and now he's a woman. So he changed afterwards. Now, if that's a woman goes in the military and wants to become a man, well, they just the first time they let a woman into the SEAL team training, just this year, a couple of ladies. See, I have a problem with that change. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have a grasp exactly of what they want to be, one thing or the other. So I think that President Trump, in my opinion, made the right decision and pulled the Obama decision out. That doesn't mean that you can't. I think there has to be some clauses and additional aspects to that. Like if somebody is a transgender and they want to serve in the military, but maybe not on the front lines.
Yes, that's what I.
That's how I see. I have a problem with women on the front lines too.
Yeah, I'm old-fashioned that way.
I'm very old-fashioned. Let me tell you something. There's some women I know that can kick my ass, right? I mean, there's some strong, powerful, trained-up women, but I don't know. I just have. A recent study in 2015 said the military did a whole study of all the 5 branches, and they said that women on front lines create a distraction. They really do. And you can pull up that 2015 study and read it. That they're not the platoons and essential units aren't as focused, and it makes sense to me at least. So absolutely, that's what I feel about that. Now, is Roberta going to be able to make it in?
She's in the valley. She was going to the Olive Street address.
Oh, well, I gave her she was going to the Olive Street address. Well, I gave her I sent it to her many, many times. So that's okay. That's all right. So it's up to us now. So that leans into the health bill, what's happening right now with the health stuff. And man, I'm pissed off at the Senate right now. I'm pissed off at the Republicans. I call them Republicans. I'm pissed off at the Democrats. I call them Democrats. I'm pissed off at the senators. I call them Senate hoes, because when we send one, they turn it into a hoe. I'm pissed off at the representatives. I haven't figured out a name to call them yet because they're not representing me. That I do know. Why can't they get it together, PJ? 7 years? What were they doing, man?
Well, again, I think it's. I don't think the Republicans are behind Trump. I think they're just kind of letting it flounder. They don't want him in, as well as the Democrats don't want him in. So why let him get anything going with his agenda? So they let him flounder, hoping that maybe something from this Russia probe will come out, this witch hunt, or, if something's there, they're hoping that, the special counsel will find something along the lines and get him out.
Well, they definitely are not partisans to the Republican Party and the president. That's for sure. They have the House, the Senate, the judiciary, and now the White House, and they can't get anything done.
They don't want to get anything done.
That's the key. That's absolutely. I agree with you on that, because he's an outsider coming in. Nobody liked him from the beginning.
And he's bringing in business people all the time, and he's not bringing in their cronies.
So we argue this point all the time on the Jesse T Show, that we need to oust all of these people and start fresh and new because of term limits and stuff. These professional politicians, they get behind that beltway, man. Things change. They come from someplace else, but then when they get behind that beltway for a couple of terms, they start feeling the power, start feeling the network, start feeling hey, did your kids want a college education at Harvard? We can do offshore funding and get it back to you, I
just think the way the politics is right now, like, you can't watch the news. It's all opinionated, biased. You can't listen. Everybody is, on their soapbox saying what their position is. They're not, nobody's trying to work together for the betterment of the country. It's a shambles right now. And nobody's, the president's out on his own. He's got the public behind him, but as far as Juice and the White House, they're not going to step up and try to, it's all blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, do you think, does your peer group and your friends that you talk to about this, do they kind of feel the same way? Do they kind of throw their hands up in the air and say, we're just going to, this is what's going to be for the next 4 years? Yeah,
it's a shame. It's really sad to see the way both sides act, and as I was younger and I listened to the news, I used to believe in, what I was hearing on the news. And now it's, fake news, biased, and everything's opinionated. I want facts. I want to see the facts, and I don't want somebody to tell me how to think. I'm a grown man. I know how to think. Just present the news and let me form my own opinions. Don't try to sway me or to lead me, And I think that's what mostly it is. It's, we see that the media is against Trump, and, if they just was more straight with the news, I think Trump digs his own holes as it is. He goes after his own people. So.
He's going after Sessions now.
I find
of all people.
I know, and I think that's one of the top guys who believed in him and is really doing something, as far as immigration and sanctuary cities and stuff. And for him to go out his own person, I don't really get that. As far as like I said, it's all a mess, and I think that's what we're in for.
That brings us to the Cannabis Acts. What's happening with cannabis, because Sessions wants to eliminate it. Trump is kind of wishy-washy on it. But the state of California in 2018, it's going full bore recreational use. In fact, the city of Los Angeles has already estimated through their controller, my buddy, they said that they're looking at a new $50 million worth of tax revenue out of 2018 to hit the city of Los Angeles from recreational use. That's a mind blower, but yet Washington can't figure out what to do.
Yeah, well, that's the when you have the AG, it's against federal law. So everybody's taking a chance who's investing in this, and if the feds decide Obama, he just washed his hands of it and let it happen. So it depends. It's a big. People are now kind of okay with marijuana.
Yeah, the millennial
use.
generation is really taking hold of it, and the Generation YX. It's probably you because you're only 29.
Yeah, I wish.
Come on, man. What you should start a skin rejuvenation career because look at you. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. No. I again, it's a big. If the feds ever decide to go after it, and I think with politics now, I don't think that they will, but it's still that still can be it's still something that a lot of people could lose their shirts
last
over.
year, November 8th, California voted to go recreational. In 2016, November 8th, a whole year to put the codes and the laws and the regulations on the state books, so the counties and the municipalities and the cities can start building their ordinances and all of that around it. And in 2018, in January, it's going full bore, 100% in the state of California with 45 million plus people. It's going to blow Colorado away, which is the litmus test for everything. Of course, Oregon and Washington and 8 other states are recreational. When you were serving in New Jersey with the state troopers, did you guys have those kind of issues on an abundance level at that time?
Well, we had a strict policy, zero tolerance, so. But coming out here was a big change for me to see, the legal, they call it legalized if you have a marijuana card, and it takes $35 and 5 minutes of your time to get one. So it's not a big to do. Well, even in New Jersey, they have it legalized, but it's a lot harder to get for medical marijuana.
Is it true what they say that California is way more liberal than like New Jersey or New York or something along that line from your point of view? Because you lived your whole life. You were growing up there.
It's very liberal. Like they, like I read in the paper, like they're trying to make it the whole state a sanctuary state. I'm like, I didn't vote on that. Like, where's the vote? They just all of a sudden do stuff and make stuff up and the taxes.
That's El Stupido Governor Brown. I call him El Stupido Jerry Brown,
I was like, that wasn't on any ballot, but, just stuff like that,
Yeah, sanctuary state stuff really drives me insane because we had this big rainstorm, remember, over this last season, and that Orville Dam almost burst and 300,000 people could have lost their lives just down river from it, had it burst over and completely fell apart, and they had to spill away so much of that water off the side. Then the spillway fell apart because it wasn't maintained.
Now there's a big giant crack on the fault line on it.
Yeah, right. And what is there, like 20 billion gallons of water behind that Orville Dam, right?
Yeah.
I think I'd be moving out of there real fast if it was me. Maybe I should go up there and practice some more real estate up there and have like a water sale or something like that. But seriously, how come they can spend money on sanctuary cities and all the sanctuary things that come with that, with the illegal aliens and all of this, but they can't build our dams, our bridges, and our roads, and schools, and energy, and our harbors? That doesn't make sense to me.
The sanctuary cities part that nobody really talks about, coming from a law enforcement background, is that, just like with this latest tragedy with the truck with all the people in it, is that sanctuary cities give hope to people living in impoverished, countries that want to come here to make their lives better, but they're all part of the trafficking, and you have your own thing with the trafficking, and that ties right into that. And that's a big, they think that they're helping people the right way, but when you say just get to our sanctuary cities and you're okay, that makes trafficking that much more prevalent.
Oh, they've talked about and threatened to pull federal funds to sanctuary cities. There's almost 400 sanctuary cities across the United States of America. People don't realize that. It's just not San Francisco, San Diego, and Los Angeles. There's almost 400 sanctuary cities.
And that increases the trafficking by so much. And I think that just, this tragic, people in the truck baking and dying.
Yeah.
It's just, that's an everyday occurrence.
Oh, that's just the big news we hear about. We don't hear about the smaller ones.
You don't hear that.
No, we don't hear about anything. When you talk to Border Patrol agents and you actually talk to them, they tell you some tragic stories that they come across. And they try to help the people out in the middle of the Arizona desert. If you haven't experienced the Arizona desert, where many of them would come across because California was just a little too busy in terms of the patrols, but when you get out to Arizona, it was like I mean, that's like Death Valley too, out there when they're walking, they walk across in that respect. But yeah, I believe that creates a lot more. It certainly drains the state's pocketbook on important emergency items like the infrastructure and things like that. And as far as the cannabis, well, it's happening. It's going to be a reality. In Colorado, they made billions and billions of dollars of revenue, but they also had many, many more accidents, many DUIs because of the cannabis use in Colorado. That went up tremendously. And you couple that with drinking that we already have, and they're talking about right now of extending in the city of Los Angeles the liquor license to 4 o'clock in the morning from 2 to add more revenue for a second license if you're already in good stead. So I'm against that too. I mean, we're just going to have a bunch of drunk high people in Los Angeles. You know, the cannabis thing, though, I will tell you, if we're going to make money, we have to make money with it because somebody's going to do it. And the state does need money, but the regulation of it, how are you going to bust people and throw them in the county jail while they're waiting for their DUI? No, what they're going to do is they're going to bust people and they're going to charge them not as much as a drinking DUI, like $10,000 to get. If you get a DUI and you're drinking in the state of California, it costs you 10 G's to hire an attorney and all easily 10 G's out your pocket in a week. That fast, gone. Probably cannabis use is going to be near that or maybe a little bit less because we don't have any place to put anybody.
Well, you better invest in Uber because you don't have to worry about driving.
That's right. That's right. Uber, baby. Uber. And we do have an Uber aficionado here. Lee, what do you think about that, man? When you're out there on the roads, do you think that when the cannabis stuff comes in 2018 and you're going to be picking up, not just drunk folks, but you're going to be picking up high-end drunk folks? I mean, does that concern you with more DUIs on the road and more intoxicated people?
I think the smart people will call Uber and Lyft, and I'll be there to get all the night crawlers home safely.
Really?
Absolutely.
You must have some great stories.
Oh, you have no idea. I'm working on the book. The stories behind the wheel.
Hey, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to put a GoPro in there. And,
I think so.
I've got that already.
Oh, you got that already?
He's already got that.
Yeah.
And make it a TV show.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, I just got to get the legal, release form for them to sign so I can use them. But
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I make people rich on this show, the Jesse T Show. That's right. We do a lot of things. Pj Jenkins in here. We're doing a little wound up. Who do you think the most successful story that you've ever had in your life that you've heard of somebody that's gone from rags to riches? Who's a story that really impacted you?
Ooh, rags to riches.
A rag to riches story when you're a kid or someone that really did something spectacular and lived a pretty good life thereafter.
I don't know. Rags to riches and then back to rags was probably most because I see like these NFL players, go bankrupt, and I see people like Tiger Woods and that are pinnacle and then fall off the cliff, and OJ.
That Tiger Woods thing. Oh, OJ, baby. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
They let him out.
Yeah.
we had a person who wrote a book about how he actually killed the people, and Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. What are your feelings on that when that was going down? Because you were you were a cop.
I was a police officer, and I think it was more along the race line at that point. It was people cheering, minorities cheering when he was not convicted, just because it showed that. If you had the money and you had the opportunity to hire the best, you could, you can get out on technicality. And a lot of people who have themselves for a lawyer find that out that they.
Oh, there's two frames of law here.
Yeah.
There's the frame of law. Bobby Blake, remember Beretta? Bobby Blake, the actor who was part of our gang when he was like 4 years old. He was part of Spanky and our gang. Been in Hollywood forever, Bobby Blake, and everybody knows he killed his wife. But he got off. It cost him about $10 million, which was just about all the money he had at that time, at least reports were. But he got off. Everybody seems to get off who's got some bucks.
Yeah.
And everybody else seems to kind of go to jail.
That's That's the sad rule of law.
So when OJ was happening over there, was that a big topic of conversation, or was it just?
No, it was a big topic of conversation. As a police officer, they made you saw all the mistakes that they made, and either further came out that
they had
Furman and
the racist Furman.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's what sunk the case. The bad police work, and not trusting just to gather the evidence, but to make the evidence look so overwhelming to make sure that he was a solid ironclad. But it backfired on him, and it actually got him off from a technicality.
Well, there's a whole lot of thought about that. We just found out a couple of days ago that, remember, the Rodney King beating and riots were just 2 years before O.J. killed those people. I'm of the call that he lopped their heads off. All the evidence, in my point of view, just he killed them. Mm-hmm. So, but the Rodney King, it was such a traumatic thing for Los Angeles. In fact, it was one of the worst riots of any major city for decades, the Rodney King riots here. And Gil Garcetti, who was the DA, Mayor Confetti Garcetti's father, I call him Confetti Garcetti because he's got nothing in his head but candy and paper. And his father, Gil Garcetti, was the DA. They allowed it to go from Santa Monica to L.A. to change the jury pool from what would have been an all-white jury, basically in Santa Monica, to a mixed jury in Los Angeles, which gave Johnny Cochran and the defense team the ability to pool different jurists. But the real thing about that was Gil Garcetti did not want to have another riot in Los Angeles. And we were still feeling the after effects of the Rodney King riot just 2 years after. It was still fresh. Yeah. And so Gil Garcetti didn't want to have that. Neither did the mayor. And remember, they got rid of Chief Darrell Gates there shortly after Rodney King. And they used him as the scapegoat of the LAPD. But they didn't want to have that happen again. And so to me, that's kind of logical because he got off. They didn't allow evidence in. They didn't do anything right in that in that trial.
Yeah, it was tainted. The evidence was tainted, and like I said, trying to make a case so strong that you taint the evidence, then you can't trust the evidence.
Yeah, absolutely, and you would know that because you spent 15, 20 years.
I have 26 years total.
26 years total on the force. So your point of view is completely different. Did you ever hear of that Barry Scheck dude on the East Coast when you were there? Was he a very popular attorney?
He became very popular.
After.
After that. Yeah.
Bailey's living in New York City above a hair salon. He was disbarred and he's broke.
Wow.
Beverly Bailey, 83 years old. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Read a story just the other day about him. So, in terms of success, those successful people, there's a guy out there, and I know you've eaten some of his chicken. And now this guy is unbelievable because at age 5, his father died. Now I'm going to tell you, at age 5, his dad died. At age 16, he quit school. At 17, he already had 4 jobs that he lost by the time he was 17. At age 18, he got married. Between 18 and 22, he was a railroad conductor, got fired. At 19, he became a father. At 20, his wife left him and took their baby daughter. He joined the Army. They threw him out and washed him out. He applied for law school. He was rejected. He became an insurance salesman, got in a fight, and failed again. He then became a cook and a dishwasher in a small cafe and got fired. And at age 65, he retired. On the first day of his retirement, he received a check for $105 from the government, and he felt that he wasn't worth anything, and he wasn't capable of doing anything, and he couldn't provide for himself, so he tried to commit suicide at age 65 because he wasn't worth anybody to anything. And what he did, he sat under a tree, and he wondered what could he have accomplished with his life had his life been different. He realized that was much more than he had done. So he could do something better than anybody, and that's cook. Now, this guy could cook. And so what he did is he borrowed $87. He bought a fried cooker and started selling his chicken from door to door, from truck stop to truck stop, from diner to diner in Kentucky. And at age 65, after he was ready to commit suicide, within 20 years, he built an empire worth $1 billion. And we're talking about the second largest chain of fast food in the world of over 20,000 locations. Harlan Sanders, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders.
And that's an amazing story.
Is that just the greatest success story of all time?
Yeah.
All the things that happened to this guy?
Yeah, that's talking about perseverance.
I mean, there's something in there that I didn't get a chance to read, but I've read several books on him. He would get these jobs, and he was a hot-tempered Kentuckian, right? And he would get these jobs, and within 2 or 3 weeks, he'd be fighting his bosses, having fist fights out wherever he was doing. He'd get fired. He would get these jobs, and he would do something a little bit different than what they would want him to do, and he would then argue with his bosses. He'd be fired. I mean, this guy couldn't hold anything for 65 years of his life. I mean, and then he becomes when he sold Kentucky Fried Chicken for $800 million to the largest food chain distributor in the world, that now is worth several billions and billions of dollars. Kentucky Fried Chicken, number 2 in the world behind McDonald's. Unbelievable.
I got to admit, though, I hate their new advertising. They have all these different guys, and their advertising is goofy now. It's still like the chicken, but
yeah,
they're like
who's
gonna put
colonel?
the chicken on the
right?
on the moon, and like, what does it have to do with any? Like, who cares?
Well, they found water on the moon,
and now they have like this guy in Tropical, and
you know who that is?
They got all these different guys. Like, I don't know
the
who
guy with the suntan and the Tropical, and he's got an arm sticking out of the sand.
I hate that commercial.
You know who that is? That's the actor George, the guy who did the vampires thing. Come on, man, help me out here, George. No, he's been around forever. He always was very handsome. It'll come to anyhow. They hired him to be that guy.
Yeah, I think they have an identity crisis.
They do
with the Colonel.
I mean, come on.
I like the original. Yeah, I just want to guy with the beard and the white hair.
The real Colonel.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely. But I'm telling you, that's a success story when you think you got crap going on in your life.
Yeah, it shows you never give up. I came out here with no intention on acting, and I kind of fell into it. And, that's the thing. Like, you could get so much rejection. You get turned down so many times. But, you just have to have you have to believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And you have to.
Do you ever wake up one day and you say, man, really? Do I really want to do this? Or do you wake up one day and you never have that in your mind?
No, I never have it in mind. I always, first thing in the morning, I'm going through the audition saying, which role can I apply and get? And even just to get the audition little notice, it's like, for me, it's Christmas. I'm like, I got nothing. I got the audition. You know what I mean? Right. I get nothing, but I'm like, I won. I won the lottery. I'm like all excited. Right. You know what I mean? I can't wait to get to the sides and start digging in and, you know what I mean? And then, but I'm good at having an audition and letting it go. I just auditioned Sunday for a new TV show coming out, and but I let it go. As soon as I do my audition, I do the best I can. If they love it, they love it. If they don't, they don't, and I move on. Some people are like, "Oh, I hope they
what
call.
Did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong?" They said they're going to call. When are they going to call? He said, "I'm going to get a call back." It's been 2 days. Like, I've had some friends that literally I said, "I can't babysit you." Emotionally, I do my auditions, and if they call back months later. I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. And I get off the phone, I start going through my notes.
What the heck was that?
What the heck was that? And I was like, but I'm always like, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't turn, I don't think any role's too small, and everything that you do, just try to be the best at it.
That's what Cy Richardson said yesterday. He'd been around for 40 years, and he said back in the day when they didn't have all this technology, he would go to the library because he didn't have enough money. And he'd get the drama logs. It used to be in the drama log newspaper magazine. Every day the new casting calls would be in the drama log. And he didn't have enough money even to buy $1.50 drama log. So he would go to the library because they would get the new one every day. And he'd get there early in the morning and read and then send out 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 the old-fashioned way. Yeah. Now, of course, it's done differently. But the same concept is there. Yeah.
But now you have a lot of more opportunities. Like, you can do a lot of more research on who's casting what. Like IMDb Pro, you look through what movies are in production or in future productions. You try to meet casting directors. Try to just get on the radar, and you try to do work that'll just you could point to somebody say, hey, look, it's good.
So one time I did this actually more than one time. I worked at KHJ. It's a radio station here in Los Angeles, 93 KHJ RKO Studios, and it's on the front lot, the front portion of Melrose and Paramount Studios. It's not there anymore, but the original studio was there, and it was the big, huge, super popular station in the 1960s, Boss Radio. It was the icon of the greatest radio in the world. And it stayed there for a lot of years. But anyhow, I got a chance to work there at the end of that great AM time in the 1980s. And so what I used to do is they wouldn't let me on the lot. The back fence would open up to Paramount Studios, but they had a guard shack there, and they still wouldn't let you on the lot, even if you were at RKO, because it wasn't Paramount, it was RKO. So they wouldn't let you on the lot. I could never con myself into the lot. Guy wouldn't even accept payoffs. I mean, dude, I was,
He tried.
I tried payoff stakes. I tried women. I tried guys, set them up. I tried favorite dogs. Guy wouldn't let me in. I said, how come you won't let me in? Because it's my job, and I've been here for 40 years, and I'm not going to let you in. That's simple. I said, okay. So I would go.
It was a pride thing for him.
It was a total pride thing, right? So I said, okay. So I went over to the Hollywood Cemetery, which is on the other side of Paramount Studios, and I walked through the Hollywood Cemetery, which was falling apart at the time. It's beautiful now. A new investor bought the whole cemetery. A big group funeral cemetery corporation bought it, and they've really made it beautiful again. But all the great stars, Clark Gable and all these kind of cats are buried there. Mm-hmm. And we did a show on Road Tripping on that. But anyhow, I would walk through the cemetery. It was falling apart. Walk through the cemetery, and on the back where they would burn the bodies, okay, in the back area, and all the tools and stuff were, I would climb on the roof of that building, and then I would climb on the 35-foot wall that Paramount had right there. I'd get on the 35-foot wall. I'd walk across the top of the wall, and then there was a bunch of crap, wood and stuff leaned up against the wall on the other side. I'd skinny on down there and down there, and I would hit the lot with like 300 pictures, because that's where all the casting directors were and all the back offices. And I'd hit the lot. I'd get to about half of them, and sure enough, what would happen is this guy.
Here's a security guy come chasing.
No. He would come. He would say, Jesse, what are you doing? I said, just passing out my pictures. I'm like 23 years old, 24 years old. And he said, follow me. He'd walk me back out. And I did that every single week for like 9 months. And,
wow. Did you get any castings for that?
Yeah.
Wow, that was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it. But what the fun part was, skinning up through the cemetery, climbing on the roof, going past the thing, coming down and trying not to get caught by him. Yeah. That was my sole goal in life, not to get caught by him.
Well, it sounds like you both were very prideful.
Well, I just crazy, man. That's what I was. AI intelligence, buddy. RFDI chips in Texas, man. They're putting chips in the people that are employed in a Texas manufacturing company. They're putting chips. The 85 employees, they put these little microchips right here, guys, right here in this portion of your skin. And the employees all have accepted it by their own will, and it helps them open up the doors, the security doors. It helps them clock in and clock out. 55 employees have taken these RFDI chips, and I've talked about that. Remember, I've talked about that in Europe, and saying in Europe, there's 3 countries in Europe that are putting it in babies when they're born. And they say that, we aren't going to have any ability to GPS or track you with these RFDI chips in you. We won't have any ability to tap into your accounts, or we won't have any ability to stop your life or anything like that. And me, I say, you're never going to put an RFDI chip in me, baby.
Big Brother's watching.
Yeah. Can you imagine 55 people? 55 people actually said, I want one. What is going on with these people? What are they like?
Job security.
They need that job.
Yeah.
That's what they're bribing them with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
You don't get it. We won't fire you,
Job
but
security.
55 of them have. So at some point, the other 30 or so are going to go.
Yeah.
Right? And to get that
You don't
job,
comply, you got to go.
I would go. I wouldn't take
There's
the
a
job.
movie that had a similar situation, but they implanted the thing in the back of their head. And then they locked
Is that like getting a head job back there?
Yeah, pretty much. But they locked the whole building down with steel over the windows so the employees couldn't get out. Then they came over the PA system and said, you have 3 hours to eliminate 3 people. Otherwise, you all will die. And they ended up, this little chip in the head would actually explode. So they had a button they could push and blow your head off. And people thought somebody was shooting them in the beginning.
Oh, that's how they hit it.
The bomb was in their head,
right?
From this little pill they would implant. And
that's what they're going to do.
Yeah,
I think they're going to eliminate 50% of the people on planet Earth. That's what they want to do.
Okay, I'm not signing up for that. And then plus, think about if you have something implanted and somebody wants to rob them, they're going to
cut your hand
off and just use your hand. Then you're back to the.
That's right. See, that's a policeman's mind.
Yeah,
that's a policeman's mind working right there.
Yeah.
See, I never thought about that.
Unless that device has to have a pulse to keep working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The scientists
just piggyback. That's the thing with smart cards when they put a lot of smart cards into building.
Yeah.
And like I worked in state governmental security in Trenton, and then the big thing is people are go out and their smoke breaks and everything, and then they're walking into the room, and the first person that opens it, everybody else is piggybacks on.
Yeah.
So the smart card is not actually being used as it's intended to, and there's a way to bypass it.
Of course.
And I had a big case where this one girl, took me a couple years to find her, but she would piggyback off of everybody and go in and steal all their purses and cash their checks and stuff like that. But she signed in the same type of signature on every building. So even though she used different names, different alias, she had this signature that, I finally pulled her into a room and I pulled out all these logs and logs and logs. Mm-hmm. It's your signature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One time I had a smart card at a radio station and I had to go to the bathroom, and I had put it along the war song, Lowrider, the long version, like the 8-minute version. Mm-hmm. And I had to go to the bathroom. So I went out the studio to the bathroom, and when I got done with the bathroom, I turned around and I went to grab my smart card, and it wasn't around my neck. And the song was about halfway over. So I ingeniously figured out a way to get back into the stadium, or back into the studio, by taking a fire extinguisher and throwing it through the security glass window that was about 1 inch thick and almost knocked over the saltwater sea tank in the reception area and blew up the window. And glass went like 400 feet into the office space, and water everywhere, but the fish were still living. I got in there, though, and I didn't have any shoes on because I took my shoes off doing the all-night shift, so I had to walk over broken glass, and it was about 3:30 in the morning when that happened. So,
is your middle name Dennis?
The Menace, baby! I need an RFDI chip in my head. Boy,
but you wouldn't get away with that now.
No.
Surveillance and
Oh, I tried to John Wayne the door, but that damn door was too big. I couldn't John, and I had to go to the bathroom too, really bad. Yeah. And there happened to be, anyway.
TMI.
Yes, too much information. Real quick, you believe there's aliens amongst us?
Until I see one, I'm a little skeptical.
Come on, you're in L.A. You haven't seen any aliens yet?
I've seen some people that act like aliens, that's for sure.
Sharia law versus the United States Constitution. What is your feelings on that?
Let's stick with the Constitution.
19-year-old was just murdered in London because her family felt she was going around with the wrong guy, and they executed her by doing Sharia law. Happened last week. Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah, it is unbelievable.
Absolutely. What's your favorite ice cream, man?
Vanilla custard.
Vanilla custard?
Yeah.
I thought you would be a Rocky Road kind of guy.
Nah, just the custard stand.
It's an East Coast thing.
Custard stand.
East Coast, kind of Italian.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about spumoni?
Yeah. Little cannolis with it.
Oh, cannoli.
Yeah, there you go. That's right.
There ain't no good cannoli
with ice cream on it.
That's good.
There's no good cheesesteaks here either.
No, there is no, absolutely no good cheesesteaks here at all. Favorite vehicle? Go out and buy anything you want.
Corvette.
Don't buy it this year. Buy it next year. They're moving to mid-engine.
Okay. I had one. I drove it off one of the best things that ever happened in my life. I drove one off the showroom floor, and that car was
that was your baby, huh?
That was my baby for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the Maserati, the 2-door one.
Mm-hmm.
At $175,000. Lee, favorite car?
I haven't had one yet, but I'd like to try the. Is it Maybach or Maybach?
Maybach.
Maybach.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Or
man.
Baby back.
Oh, well,
Now
Maybe
we're
he's
talking
got
Rick.
back.
Oh, my baby back, baby back.
I'm thinking maybe the Maybach. But I'm not really into cars anymore.
Well, you could be like the polygamist that just got busted and thrown in jail. He had 145 children. You could do a lot of baby backs in the Maybach.
Yeah, no,
How does that
I don't want to go out
That
like
dude had 145 kids, man. He had 25 wives. They finally threw him in jail for it, and his brother-in-law too. But man, can you imagine? I have a hard enough time coming home to Mama T. I can't imagine coming home to 20 of them.
That bill is going to be unbelievable.
145 kids?
No.
I mean,
I had a hard time with my 3.
I like practicing.
No.
But I don't like completing.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
much.
No way. So what's coming up for you here? What do you got going on, man?
Well,
You're always got something going on.
Yeah, just finished yesterday, 15 hours filming up a independent full feature movie where I'm a lead. It's called Savage, 2017. I'm going to play a convicted murderer, but I say my wife, killed herself and I didn't do it. I'm a former Marine in it, and it's a really good role where I got a chance to really do a character. It's a comedy, and to spread my wings a little bit and show a different side of me.
But they can't call you Meathead, right?
Yeah, they don't call me.
Yeah. No, that's an inside joke.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah, it's on a TV show that I wrote and produced, and trying to pitch it around town. It's called Stakeout. Where,
funny as heck, man. Funny.
It's a comedy police unit, and I'm trying to use some of the stories and tie in my background, law enforcement background, to make some. I want to bring some public awareness to some of the racial and some of the things that are going on in today's society. So I think that would be a good vehicle to do that with. So one of the things, I have lumps in the back of my head. So if anybody ever calls me a meathead, then I kind of lose my temper. That's the only time. Other than that, I'm pretty straight-laced and
so
cool.
he had me on there doing a little something. I was this crazy reporter, and when I heard that meathead thing, I interview all the characters, and when I interviewed him, I just kept calling him Meathead, and he kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier at me.
Yeah. And some of the other people weren't really prepared for you. So they were like, where'd you get this guy from? And what's his story? And I was like, hey, you're actors, just roll with it and go for it. And we'll edit it and cut what we want and get it. And it all came out really good. But I think I'm going to go back to the board with that after I've now pitched it. It was on Amazon Studios for a long time. I was pitching it. It was number 2 out of over 16,000 projects. So I know I'm in the right direction. I just, as a first-time writer, first-time producer, and first, project,
it's actually really good. You can see it on YouTube, too.
Yeah. I think I had a lot of success with it, but I learned a lot from that.
You're also in Halo.
Yeah, we're doing a remake of a Halo, and
that's a game. Halo game.
Yeah, Halo game. I'm in a couple of other games. I'm in Madden 17 as a football coach. I'm in another game, Ghost Recon Wilderness, as a killable, spawnable player. So, I'm just out there trying to put my hand and foot in anything I can get in the doors, trying to meet people, good people, and try to get on some good projects.
Absolutely, man. Well, you're working hard, and you're doing a lot of good stuff, and it's a second career for you, and it's a different lifestyle change.
Different life. It's very humbling. So I like to just stay humble and stay hungry and just keep like Colonel Sanders, just keep going at it until I get it.
Pj Jenkins, everybody, check him out on IMDb. Check out all the stuff he's doing. Keep watch on this man over here. He's got a lot of good things coming his way in the future, and we had a lot of fun today, just throwing around some issues and stuff. Hey, thanks for coming to Roundup Wound Up, man.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'd like to.
5 minutes.
I still have 5 minutes.
Sure.
So you want me to sing?
No,
I'll sing.
absolutely not. No.
God bless America.
Who sings that
song?
I just made the executive decision to turn his mic off.
Thank you. That was painful.
Come on, that was better than Rosanna Barr. Remember her when she sang the Star Spangled Banner?
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, that was bad too.
Yeah, I'd rather go to the dentist.
Well, you don't know that she used to train at my house.
I believe that. That's evident.
I can see you're a vocal coach.
I am.
Exactly.
Yes, my vocal coach gave me my money back after I studied with him for a year. He said, "Don't come back."
Please. And don't mention it that I ever worked with you.
That's right. Yes, that's what he said. Absolutely. Hey, by the way, Frank Sinatra's wife, Barbara Sinatra, just died a couple of days ago. 90. We should play
90?
some Frank Sinatra music.
She was 90, right?
Yeah.
90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What favorite music, man? You're an East Coast guy. What kind of music do you like?
Deep house.
Yeah. Are you a deep house dude?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
like
Wow.
Grew up and going on
Wow.
the weekends, making rocket ship runs in my Corvette to New York to go.
Let's see
Studio
how much you
54.
know about house here.
Okay.
Now, where did it originate from?
Chicago.
All right.
All
You're
right.
all right with
Well,
that.
there it is.
I got
on my radio station.
really. I
yeah,
have,
he was
BMX.
the first one in the country
I
to
still
play
have
it.
about 12 crates of original house music from
You want
Chicago.
it? I'll take it off your hands.
No, I
man.
carried it across the country, and I still have
Tell
my
you what,
technique turntables.
we can add it to my 55,000, and I'll hold it for you and keep
No,
it safe
don't
because
do
you
it.
move
Nah,
around a lot.
I've got all original house music.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got rid of all my vinyl, man. I'm
Yeah, we
hate
were doing.
myself because of that.
I bet.
Yeah,
you know,
6,000 albums.
Yeah,
Well,
I have that's a small part that I kept. And
When
every time I
Kate-
lug it, I go, "Oh my god!" But I love it once I have it.
When
Costs
K-Day
money.
went down, I raided that record library. Oh yeah, man, I was there every day of the week raiding that record library because
Wow.
they were going to get rid of it. They were going
Yeah.
to throw it away.
You ever heard of the Hot Mix 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, those are the guys I put on the radio back in the 80s.
Oh, awesome.
Chicago.
Awesome.
Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah, I have
Frankie
Frankie.
Knuckles.
He's in that collection of mine.
Frankie was the worst jock we had on the air. He didn't make the cut, but he got better over the years and became internationally famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have his original albums, the red
Wow.
covers.
Wow.
So don't tell me you had the high hairdos and everything.
Oh
in
yeah.
Funkhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had the-
Eraser head.
Yeah, that's
I had
right.
the-
Come on now.
I had enough for
and the 14 different colors on the shirt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I tell you, I was making those
funny.
rocket runs up to New York all the
Funny.
time.
That is
Wow.
funny, man.
Do
Wow.
you think that the police officers are doing a good enough job at policing their fellow police officers, making them do the right thing?
Well, that's I think the issue goes back to, again, like now that before when I became a police officer, my first police job was for $13,000. I left
Wow.
there after 2 years and went to the state police, which was I raised to $20,000.
Whoa.
After the first 2 years there, I moved up to $25,000. I retired at over $125,000.
Wow.
So the people who are going to be police officers now are no longer being police officers because of the job. They're doing it because of the pension, and they retire early. You get a full pension and full medical. So you have the wrong type of people who are trying to become police officers now because of the money and the way it is set up now.
Right.
So I think you're getting a whole bunch of different people that are trying to be police officers that should not have never wanted to be police officer, but
Right.
doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And I think, like, I grew up in Atlantic City on the streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Street smart. I get out of a car, I can talk to anybody.
You knew
I could
everybody.
knew everybody. I could talk to everybody, and even if they ship me to another situation, I could still be able to just
Pull on those resources.
I worked out of Trenton. It's one of the worst areas.
Oh, yeah,
ever.
yeah.
But when I get out of the car at a basketball, and people start running, I go, whoa. Wait a minute. I'm just here to shoot some hoops with guys. You know what I mean? I'm not here to, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So there's
yeah.
a difference, you know what I mean, of how you present it and how you treat people. And I think
Sure.
we've lost a lot of that in the last few,
Yeah.
decades. And now, police officers are a target,
Mm-hmm.
no longer are they just hated, but now there's, people are killing them just for being a police officer.
Sure.
Well, I have a lot of clients who are LAPD, and one of the things that they learn after about 5 years being on the force out of the academy is they learn that those ideas of the things they wanted to do for society or help out, that's really not what it's all about. You get to 15 and 20 years, these guys got multi-million-dollar pensions, credit union money, 401k. They don't want to do anything to violate that because, like LAPD, is such a bureaucratic process
Yeah, plus today's, if you do something, you can really put yourself out there
for the slightest of things.
for the slaves.
Yeah, not
You're
much.
ridiculed.
Yeah, absolutely. Pj Jenkins, everybody, thanks a lot, man, for coming in to the Jesse T Show next Wednesday. Roundup, Wound Up. And I got to have you back
Anytime.
so we can play some of your trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't get to that. So I'd like to do that.
Awesome.
And, highlight the whole show around you, man.
That'd be awesome.
And you can do some singing and house music for us, right?
You don't want to hear me sing.
Well, that's okay.
I'll
sing.
bring my brother. I have a brother who sings. And,
excellent.
Well, I'll sing for you.
He just sang. He sang at the the RNC.
No, he's really good.
Republican convention.
His brother's really good.
Oh, cool.
Great singer. Absolutely. How they keep in touch with you?
PjJenkins.com.
PjJenkins.com. There you go. Facebook?
PJ Jenkins.
Instagram?
PJ Actor.
All right. Got it right there on the Jesse T Show. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us. The World According to Torrero. You're straight on the point. Archived now on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and all around. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya! Boom, baby! Look at, I like chocolate ice cream, man. Chocolate.
Chocolate ice